It is the miracle of mason bee season. We've loved having these beings in our landscape for years and years, and now that things are really warming up here later April, nice 80-degree days, sun. Right now it's not that sunny, but they're still very, very much awake and active. My work today is to expand their housing, give them more room to live. And the kind of housing we're working with is so extremely simple. These are the tubes of Japanese knotweed, a very beautiful, potent, assertive growing plant that grows all over in the Northeast. The skeletal tubes of their growth from the year past is perfect housing for these beautiful native pollinators. It's an interesting reminder of the complexity of the native-non-native discussion, and I think allowing for more expansion in that concept. I'm a non-native person working to create habitat for beautiful native pollinating creatures using non-native tubes and wood from all over the place and random scraps from the trash. It's a nice combination to work with, and I think there's a lot in there. These tubes were cut a year or two ago, and they sat in the garage. Every spring I just gave myself a hard time. Hey, you better get out there and do this, you better get out and do this, make more housing, make more housing. This year in particular, I'm not sure what happened. It was a pretty cold winter. I thought that would actually reduce their populations, but it feels like they almost doubled. It feels more like we're standing in front of a honeybee hive than we are this solitary bee habitat. The tubes were cut, they sat in the garage for a while, and finally they're ready to go into new housing. So this is the box I'm making right now, and you can see this is about as simple as it gets for carpentry. This is entirely scrap wood. These boards happen to be roughly about 8 inches wide. It used to be shelves in a store that closed down, and I got some of this wood. I left that curve because why not? Roughly 8 inches deep, roughly 10 inches tall. The board in the back has a little lip at the bottom that we can screw into to put it up on the house. And then the top, I'm using some black locust. It's a little bit stronger, but that doesn't matter that much. But I make sure to have really generous eaves on both sides. And I'm even going to add this scrap dumpster polycarbonate to make an extra warm, extra dry space for them. Something to consider, and you can do this however you choose, but wherever you put mason bee housing, and it feels very clear to me over 10 years or so of experimenting with this, that really these 6-inch-ish tubes of specifically Japanese knotweed, anywhere from barely can a pencil fit to almost a Sharpie can fit. This is about their prime diameter. This material you really want to keep super dry and nice and warm and toasty, so your roofing system for the structure pays to be excessively eavy. So this is very wide in all directions, so driven snow and rain has low chance of getting into that. I'm going to fill this the rest of the way with tubes. As I grab handfuls of tubes, there are bees coming in and out of them. They are super actively finding new housing, I think. So these are the children of this year that then find where they're going to commit their life. They sample a bunch of them, and then they start laying eggs and pollen and nourishment. Please, down in the comments, share more about these beautiful bees if you know more, or links to other videos that talk deeper about what their life cycle is. I only know it on the surface, but it's neat to see the tubes that have been here for now, I think this is the 8th season, can still be so active and fine, and then these fresh tubes, I'm hoping, feel really exciting to this new generation of bees, nice and fresh and dry and ready to go. This was one that was made a few years ago, and there's a distinct error in how we put this together, in that it wasn't tight enough. And so even though there's this 1/2-inch hardware cloth in the front, which I'll talk about more in a moment, the tubes settled because they were just kind of laid in there, and I don't think that's ideal. This one's packed pretty tight, but even still they're kind of falling out here or there. That's pretty snug. I think that's a better way to go. Pack them in tight if you're going to make one of these. It seems reasonable. George, don't eat the native pollinators. The other thing we've learned over the years to almost certainly include is 1/2-inch hardware cloth, and that can go over the front. I left this piece as wide as it was. This is just a random piece of scrap I'll put a few screws on the face to pin it against the wood, and then just fold the excess over and fold the bottom up. And that keeps birds from being able to pull these tubes out. It also stabilizes them if they start to slip. Pretty important stuff. Maybe 1/4 inch would work, but 1/2 inch allows for the possibility that some other big bombadil bee might enjoy those, and why keep them out? If there's some big-bodied or little-bodied friends that want to be in there, let's let them through. So using random pieces of scrap lumber, a random piece of old polycarbonate offcut that was laying around, and a small scrap of 1/2 inch hardware cloth, and some foraged Japanese knotweed tubes that are readily available and easy to process with pruners, we now have pretty lovely housing ready for these bees. This whole box comes in under $1 or $2. The only real cost are screws. Could have used like reused nails from a reuse store and kept this under $1, but let's say it costs $2 or $3. It's a worthwhile thing. It'll last almost a decade. Having the back be a little bit longer down the bottom allows me a place where I can screw up and into a supporting member for this. I've done this with birdhouses in the past and I like it. It's a real basic idea. At least I can feel some relief that for the rest of the day, as they're looking for new housing, they're going to find it really easily right next to it. Feels like a little bit of a nicer, better made option than the other two. Still have some scrap wood and some scrap roofing. I still have a little pile of screws, and they definitely still have desire for expansion. I might as well make another one, maybe not right now, but I want to use up every last Japanese knotweed tube that could be housing and make sure it's available to them. The native red bud bloom is just about ready to open up, which will be a wonderful event for these bees. They really do enjoy those. Totally beautiful non-native apricot from northern Siberia just finished up, and those bees had a blast on there, and it looks like we might actually get fruit this year. The native persimmons are a month or more out from even leafing out and flowering. They flower super late, but it'll be another wonderful flow for them when that happens. And these non-native pears make tons and tons of flowers that the bees enjoy. They're not on them right now, it's a little breezy. And then maybe it's native, I don't know if it is or not, peach is a week away from flowering too. So many different characters.